best and brightest local high school teams compete in a tournament of knowledge for a trip to Europe on this year's hottest game show, Bay Area Quiz Kids. Brought to you by AT&T, Oracle, the San Mateo Credit Union, Samtrans, and Fisher Investments. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome to Quiz Kids, the show where 32 teams that are full of some of the smartest, brightest kids in the Bay Area compete for incredible prizes. We are here in our second game, our first round of play, and we have two wonderful teams. Over here we have the Acalanes High School Dons. With Don himself, and they're taking on the Vintage High School Crushers. So without further ado, let us begin with the collaboration round. Welcome, Bronwyn and gentlemen, to our game. In this first round, you'll be playing as a team. I have a series of 10-point questions here. I'll ask your team a question and give you a few seconds to collaborate. And then I will ask your captain, Bronwyn or Evan, to give me the answer you think is correct. Give me the right answer and you will score 10 points. If you give me the wrong answer, the other team will be allowed to collaborate and possibly steal those points away. Back and forth we'll go, question by question, until the buzzer signals the end of the first round, okay? Good luck to both teams. Acalanes, you get the first question. Called the most controversial of all 19th century Americans, he directed the Potawatomi Massacre, which freed 11 slaves in Missouri. What man was hanged at Charlestown in December 2nd, 1859, less than 2 months after he and other abolitionists captured the arsenal at Harper's Ferry?
John Brown.
Correct, for 10 points. Though born in San Francisco, he is usually associated with New England, and he published his first poem, My Butterfly, in Lawrence, Massachusetts. What poet, who also wrote two-verse masques of Reason and Mercy, is better known for poems like Home Burial, Fire and Ice, and Mending Wall?
Shel Silverstein?
No, I'm afraid not. You can steal, Acalanes. Well, they're all New England poets, aren't they? But this one is Robert Frost.
Okay.
Here's your next question. Currently chaired by Bruce Pasternak, the winter version was first held in 1977 in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Eunice Shriver founded what event whose oath ending, "But if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt," is taken by mentally challenged athletes?
Special Olympics.
Correct, for 10 points. Okay, Vintage, here's your chance to get on the board. The earliest hypothesized one is believed to have occurred around 2.7 to 2.3 billion years ago. The Great Lakes formed near the end of the most recent of which periods that concluded 10,000 years ago and saw the extensive formation of glaciers?
Ice Age?
That's right, for 10 points. Originally designated as Armored Cruiser 1, it was a second-class pre-dreadnought battleship commissioned in 1895. William McKinley ordered an investigation after the explosion of which battleship in Havana Harbor in 1898 that precipitated the Spanish-American War?
The Maine.
Remember it, yes. Some attribute this law to Rasmus Rask, who co-discovered it, though he built upon the work of two siblings. What namesake law governing consonant changes in Germanic languages was developed by one of two brothers who also edited a collection of fairy tales?
The Brothers Grimm?
Except that, yeah, Grimm's Law, Brothers Grimm, that's right. His famous dictum reads, if there's a gun hanging on the wall in chapter 1, it better go off in chapter 2 or 3, or it shouldn't be mentioned at all. What Russian author wrote about a doctor named Astrov, a retired professor named Serebryakov, and the disgruntled Voynitsky in his play Uncle Vanya? Serebryakov.
Chekhov.
That's right, for 10 points. There is no evidence that her most famous phrase was ever uttered, but she did express the desire to help the citizens through their bread shortage. What queen who milked docile cows at her Hameau retreat was known as the Widow Capet before she was guillotined during the French Revolution?
Catherine?
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Marie Antoinette.
Let them eat cake. That signals the end of the round. Let's look at the score. Vintage has 20 points. Acalanes is in the lead with 50. We will return and meet our players after these words. Welcome back. Our studio today is packed to the rafters with rabid fans who can't wait to sit in our studio and watch Quiz Kids. You can be part of the in crowd by joining us and calling us at 650-637-1936. We will send you very rare tickets that will get you in to watch the show. Acalanes Dons, welcome back. Bronwyn O'Haron, how are you?
Good. How are you?
You guys didn't win first place last time, but you went on a trip that sounds just as exciting as the one we sent our first place trip people to. You went on a European history trip.
Yeah.
All juniors do this? Sophomores do this?
Yeah, it's sophomores take AP European History in our class, and then you can go on the trip.
So tell us where you went.
Well, we started in Paris, and then we traveled south through France and ended in Madrid in Spain.
That sounds very exciting. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a great time.
2-week trip?
Yes.
Very nice. How many of you were there?
Oh, about 25? I'm not
25.
sure.
That's good. A good crowd. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Connor Mooney, you were a senior, and I see Acalanes cross country. Do you run cross country?
I do?
Yes, you promised me you would make this exciting for me. Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I was a swimmer actually turned runner in the 8th grade, and there's a friend of mine bugging me all year long to do cross country, and tried it out one day, and it was pretty crazy. It was pretty tough, but figured it was better than chasing walls. So
That's actually kind of exciting. He used crazy, tough, chasing walls. That was exciting. Good for you, Connor. Have a good season.
thanks.
Don Kephart, the Don of the Acalanes Dons, right?
Among two. Our quarterback's named Donnie as well.
Oh, Donnie and Don. There's walls covered with your pictures, I hear, at school.
Not especially.
Not especially? All right. You went on this trip as well, but you got to leave on your own at the end of the trip and go stay with a family that you've sort of been doing exchanges with in Vienna.
Yeah, this family, the father, his brother went to graduate school with my mother at Cal.
Uh-huh.
So we know them through that, and then their son wanted to go visit the United States, so he stayed at our place for a
And
week.
you stayed with them this time. Have a good time in Vienna?
Yeah, it was
Beautiful
pretty
city.
entertaining. I really like the public transportation system over there.
Yeah, I've heard it's very nice. Maybe we could take a lesson from them. Let's give a big hand to your coach, Joe Scotland. The Vintage Grape Crushers. Evan Frisha, how are you, Evan?
I'm doing fine.
You're a sophomore. You had a cool summer job this summer.
Yes, I was a lifeguard for my local pool.
Everybody must look up to you for that. I mean, that's one of those jobs, that
Yeah,
people kind of.
I'd, keep the kids from running.
Yeah.
Number one cause of drowning is running.
Yes? That doesn't make sense, but it's true, isn't it? It's true. If you run, you could fall into the pool. But nobody did this summer. You had kind of an easy job of it this year.
Yeah.
I guess maybe you sitting there made them all feel the need to be safe.
I guess so.
Good for you. Grant Parker, you're a senior and you're the captain of the golf team.
Yes, I am.
The last show, I asked someone to talk about golf, and my producer went, wrap it up, wrap it up.
It's not possible to make it interesting.
It's not? What's your handicap?
It's about a 5.
I don't know what that means. Is that good?
It's okay.
Yeah? What,
decent.
18 holes, what do you usually...
About 77.
That's good, isn't it? I'm looking at my executive producer. He's going, I wish I could golf like that. Very good. Have a good season this year.
Thank you.
Rohit Sachdev, how are you?
I'm fine.
You are a senior as well, and you're going to make tennis as interesting as golf or cross country.
Yeah.
Go.
I went to UCLA, and they have really good tennis players, and they recruit players like Polish people, like number 2, in Poland, and that makes the tennis really interesting. With
You said it's a real international group
yeah, it
down
is.
there.
We have Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer competing from Switzerland and Spain. So
That must have been
watching
very...
this-
You had a good time then.
Yeah, I did.
How's your play?
Oh, it's doing pretty good. I think I can maybe compete one of these days.
I promise you could beat me. Let's give a big hand to your coach, Scott Marsden. And won't you put your hands together for our very buff athletic coach, Mr. Frank Saboti. Frank can beat me in tennis, golf, and cross country. He's pretty good. We will be right back with the lightning round after these messages. Let's play the lightning round. Nice applause. We are going to play with these buzzers you see in front of you, and I'm going to ask a question. You're going to buzz in. The first person to buzz gets to answer the question. Give me the right answer. You'll score 10 points for your team. If you give me the wrong answer, the other team gets to collaborate and possibly steal those points away if your captain gives me the right answer. If you buzz in before I complete the question, you'll have to answer with the information you've already heard. You won't get any more than that. If you give me the wrong answer, though, I will complete the question for the other team before they answer. The score is 20-50. Good luck, both teams. Mutations that cause thalassemia and sickle cell anemia alter the structure of what protein with 4 subunits that carries oxygen in the... Yes, Connor?
Hemoglobin.
That is right. The first Spanish settlements have arrived... the first Spanish settlements here arrived in 1565, led by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. What archipelagic country includes the islands of Palawan, Mindanao, Leyte, and Luzon? Yes, Don.
The Philippine Islands?
That is right. Brooks Robinson won the most gold gloves of any player at this position with 16. What baseball position played...
Second base?
No, I'm sorry. What baseball position... You don't... played by Hank... Do you want to tell me, or you want me to finish?
No, finish, please.
Hank Blaylock, Chipper Jones, David Wright, and Alex Rodriguez is known as the hot corner.
No, third base?
That's right. Do you hear the people singing? Yes?
Les Miserables?
That's right.
Good job.
Trilobites are extinct ancestors of what largest animal phylum that contains centipedes, millipedes, crustaceans, and Yes, Rohit.
Worms?
No, and insects. What is the phylum we're looking for?
Arthropoda?
Yes, that's right, arthropoda or arthropods. Some modern mythologists regard him as a solar adaptation of the Phoenician god Baal. What monstrous offspring of Pasiphae was slain by a magical sword given by Ariadne to Theseus before he entered the Cretan labyrinth? Bronwyn.
Minotaur?
That is right. In June 2006, the Senate fell one vote short of approving an amendment inspired by Texas versus Johnson, banning what inflammatory act? Evan.
Burning a flag?
Correct. Subtitled Pictures from Pagan Russia, it has 2 parts, the adoration of the earth and the sacrifice. The 1913 Paris premiere of what work, choreographed by Vaslav Nijinsky to music by Igor Stravinsky, was the site of an infamous riot? We're looking for the work. It's The Rite of Spring. It has a charge of plus 2/3 and a spin of 1/2. What kind of quark is found once in every neutron and twice in every proton and is usually... Yes, Connor.
An upquark.
That is right. The battles of Hexham, Taunton, and St. Albans were fought in what conflict that ended in 1485 when Richard III was killed at Bosworth Field? Evan.
The Crusades?
No, I'm sorry. You can steal, Acalanes.
What year did it end?
1485.
War of the Roses?
It is the War of the Roses, that's right. He is named after a famous British ornithologist, which is consistent with his colleagues having last names which are bird names. In his latest appearance, he challenges Jones to a game of liar's dice, which his father summarily joins and loses. Who is this blacksmith's apprentice at Port Royal who evolves into a pirate like his father Bootstrap? Connor.
Will Turner.
Yeah. I believe we're talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean, aren't we? This branch of the U.S. Armed Services has its academy in New London, Connecticut.
Coast Guard?
That is correct. They are the last remaining example of the small-town teams that comprised the NFL of the 1920s. What team lost Super Bowl 32 but won Super Bowls 31, 2, and 1? Don.
New England Patriots.
No, I'm sorry. And plays at Lambeau Field in Wisconsin.
Green Bay Packers.
Correct. The earliest known use of them was in the Indian Sulba Sutras, which included statements that certain square roots could not be calculated as fractions. The golden ratio, pi, and the square root of 2 are examples of which? Yes, Connor.
Irrational numbers.
Right. It was a performance of Verdi's Aida that inspired him to be a composer, whose last opera was the unfinished Turandot, who also wrote the Oriental-themed Madame Butterfly as well as La Bohème. Bronwyn.
Puccini.
Correct. In 2006, Tim Kaine replaced Mark Warner as governor of what state called the Mother of Presidents, where one could visit colonial Williamsburg? Don.
Virginia.
Right. That signals the end of the round. Let's look at the score. Vintage has 60, but Acalanes is in the lead with 160 points. The point values will double in the next round. They might catch up. Join us. Let's play the Extreme Lightning Round. That was much better. All right. Point values are doubled. Play stays the same. Good luck, teams. The February 2005 assassination of Rafiq Hariri triggered the Cedar Revolution against Syrian influence in Beirut and elsewhere in what nation? Don.
Lebanon.
Yes. Missing textures in doom levels lead to what effect named for the room where the Treaty of Versailles was signed below 17 huge reflective surfaces? Yes, Bronwyn.
Hall of Mirrors.
Ah, yes. Bernard Cornwell's The Warlord Chronicles concern what son of Igraine and Uther Pendragon, who ruled over the knights? Yes, Evan.
Arthur.
Yes. While described as a tall, dignified figure when seated, his otherwise weak character is likely attributed to polio or cerebral. Yes, Don.
Franklin Roosevelt.
No. Is attributed to polio or cerebral palsy. What Roman emperor, who may have been poisoned by his wife Agrippina so her son Nero could rule, was the subject of 2 novels by Robert Graves?
Augustus.
Claudius. Its name derives from an ancient Portuguese word for a kind of pearl that is not round but of elaborate shape. What sculptural movement often featured hidden lights or water spouts and includes the Triton Fountain and Cornero Chapel of Gian Lorenzo Bernini? Bronwyn.
Baroque.
That is right. Here's my Ethel Merman. Everything's calm. Yes?
Gypsy.
That's right. This group knows musicals. I like these people. Nicknamed Papa, he remarked that it would have been nicer if the 1954 Nobel Prize for Literature had gone to Isaac Dinesen rather than himself. What author wrote about the love of Nurse Catherine Barclay and Lieutenant Bronwyn?
Ernest Hemingway.
Correct. The original team by this name lasted from 1901 to 1934 and won 10 Stanley Cups. What hockey team won the first NHL shootout when Daniel Alfredson and Danny Heatley scored in October? Evan.
Red Wings.
No. Scored in October 2005 away from their home, the capital of Canada.
Senators. What is it? Senators?
Senators.
The Ottawa Senators, yes. Malacca, Goa, Timor, and Macau were once possessions of which kingdom? Don.
Portugal.
Yes. Like the Don, Dnieper, and Dniester, the name of this, like the Don, Dnieper, and Dniester, the name of this second longest European river contains the root word for stream. What river formed by the union of the Brigach and Breg in Germany's Black Forest is crossed, yes, Connor?
The Rhine.
No, is crossed by the Széchenyi Bridge in Budapest.
Euphrates.
No, in Hungary it's the Danube. In the Chinese calendar, these mark the middles of the seasons, but otherwise they indicate the start of them. From the Latin for sun stands still comes what term for days on which the sun's altitude and daylight hours are maximal or minimal? Rohit.
Salil.
Say what?
Salil.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. You can steal.
Solstice.
That's right, solstice. In 2003, what member of George W. Bush's Axis of Evil withdrew from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty under the authority of Kim? Yes, Grant.
North Korea.
Correct. It was in this region that St. Bonaventure converted the Germans to Christianity, and it strongly resisted the Protestant Reformation. What German state was ruled until 1918 by the Wittelsbach family, including Mad King Ludwig, from its capital at Munich? Connor.
What is Bavaria?
Yes, not Jeopardy, but Bavaria, yes. Jennifer Steele was declared the winner of the reality shows contest sponsored by MTV and this periodical. Edited by Atusa Rubinstein and first published in 1944, what is this U.S. publication considered to be the most popular magazine for teenage girls? Don.
People?
People?
Sports Illustrated?
17?
17 is right. Born in the village of Anciano, a few miles from the small town associated with his name, the character of Plato in Raphael's School of Athens is believed to be based on his likeness. What artist who died at the French court of Francis I had trained under Andrea del Verrocchio and painted Yes, Connor?
Leonardo da Vinci.
That is right. We have less than a minute left. Versions of this condition include mosaicism and familial, which is caused by a translocation. Jerome Lejeune recognized that what common cause of cognitive impairment results from an extra copy of chromosome 21? Down syndrome. It was inspired by the desire to reverse the deflation of 1873 to 1896 and make it easier for farmers to pay off their debts. What speech from the 1896 Democratic Convention advocated bimetallism and yes,
Cross
Grant?
of gold.
That's right. Noteworthy stunts of his include the goldfish trick, the earthworm, and the high dive. Evan.
Steve-O.
That's it. After his mentor Bruno Bauer left the University of Friedrich Williams, he turned to journalism, but his radical political views meant that he had to leave Germany. What man who criticized Napoleon III in the 18th Brumaire of Louis Bonaparte is better known for co-writing the Communist Manifesto? Don.
Karl Marx.
That is right. That is the end of the game. 160 for vintage. Acalanes wins with 380 points. Congratulations. We'll see you in a couple of months. And you come back next week when Homestead High School plays South San Francisco. Bye-bye.
The following underwriters helped to make this program possible: AT&T, Oracle, the San Mateo Credit Union, Samtrans, and Fisher Investments. Tournament champions will win an all-expense-paid trip to Europe, courtesy of ACIS. Additional support provided by these Bay Area newspapers: the Burlingame Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the Knights Templar, and National Academic Quiz Tournaments.